There's a silent war that is happening between the Kikuyu and the Somali business people. And this war, nobody can see if they're not keen. And it's very serious. It seems the Somalis are winning in business. Every sector they touch, they dominate. And this is what is sending panic or causing panic among the Kikuyu businessmen and women. We are fearing that in the next 10 to 20 years, Nairobi will be dominated by the Somali. And they are not taking Nairobi by force. No. They are strategic and they do what ordinary Kenyans want any business to do. Now the Kikuyu, the evils they used to do, and other Kenyans, there are other Kenyans who also operate businesses in Nairobi, but majority of the businesses used to be owned by the Kikuyu. And now the entry of the Somali, we have Burundians, Rwandese, Congolese, Black Americans are coming, the Indians are there, and also we have some whites. The entry of these people in numbers is causing panic. And this is why the Kikuyus are seriously considering to take steps. Now in Kenya, you can see security sectors. They are dominated by Somalis. The heads are the Somalis, the intelligence, whatever. And they were placed there purposely because Ruto knows something. This rivalry just came because Kenyans were not trusting the Kikuyu. That's why Somali came and found there's a gap in the business world. Real estate, we had a gap in the electronics business, clothing industry, we have hospitality industry, and many others. And once they started doing the right thing, the Kikuyu started panicking. And that's where the rivalry started. In Nairobi CBD, 10 years ago, almost all the hotels were being owned by the Kikuyu, the Kisi, some Luo and Luya. But now, majority of them are owned by the Somali. The few which are owned by the Kikuyu are not as busy as those ones owned by the Somali. You can just go there and confirm, do your research. Ludhuli Avenue, someone is going there to buy a smartphone. He will skip shops which are owned by these other Kenyans and go straight to a shop owned by a Somali. As long as they see this as Somali, they go direct there and they buy. It is because of the experiences other Kenyans have had with these people or the Kenyan business people. The hotel industry, I've said this several times. You have seen in the news where they report that 100 donkeys were found being ferried to Nairobi from Kiambu, from central Kenya. they were being ferried. Even dogs were being ferried to be sold in butcheries in Nairobi. But you will never hear about Somalis doing that. What they do, they transport most of the cows they get from Kajiado, they get from Northeastern, and they slaughter and sell genuine. If it's cow, it's cow. Goat meat, goat meat. And that is why they're dominating. Now, let's come to real estate. Go online and do your research and see how Kenyans are crying. They have been scammed millions of money by those real estate companies. People disappeared with money. And all those companies are owned by the Kikuyu. These are the same people who conned. They misused the opportunity, the favor they had, and they scammed Kenyans and they disappeared. Others now went to open churches and they're pretending to be holy. And that's what is happening. So the ordinary Kenyans are very comfortable with the Somali businesses and they want the Somali to even penetrate the real estate sector so that they can buy land from them. They want even the African Americans to come and join them in the businesses. Nobody should cheat you that Kenyans don't have money. Kenyans have money, but now they fear to spend on such companies which are owned by Kenyans. Someone in his right mind selling a plot to 10 people at the same time, and from there will disappear. You will never see them. So he leaves you huh, with serious financial issues. That is what is happening. And this rivalry, which is between Somali and Kikuyu, will end when the Kikuyu will change the way they treat other Kenyans in businesses. Let them sell genuine things. There's no way you can go to buy a smartphone. You find you pay 30,000, you are given something fake. It's not even a smartphone. Maybe it's stolen from somewhere. And you are paid to get genuine new item. We go to buy a smart TV, we are conned. And that is what is happening. But the Somalis have the smartphones, all of them are purchased. Even this one I'm using here, was from a Somali. Someone I don't even know. Even the laptop, I use even 10 years and give someone, then I replace because they are durable, they are new, they are genuine. You will never be conned. And that's why Kenyans are flocked. The shops owned by the Somali, the hotels owned by Somali, even the houses. Look at the houses built by the Somali now. Go to South B, South C, Isili, Parklands, even Kilimani. They are modern, spacious, using quality materials, and they're not even expensive to rent. And that's how they are changing Nairobi. Now, Nairobi, the old landlords, if you go to Kayole, Githurai, go to Dandora, you go to Kariobangi, and these several estates in Eastlands, and see the kind of buildings those guys built. They are not the standard of a city. They hurriedly built, no finishing, tiles are poor condition, very tiny rooms, and then they are overpriced. So that is why these other Kenyans, when they come to build, it becomes easy for them to sell, even selling the plans before it's built. We call it off plan. They're able to sell off plan because these people are going to build for us something quality and they're going to deliver. But these others, one of my friends lost 5.7 million Kenyan shillings because he was promised off plan house. It's now around 8 years. He has never received that house and he had paid over 80% of the price. And the guys disappeared with the money. They went to contest for parliamentary seat. And that's what is happening. So there's a major issue and there's a shift. In the next 10 years, almost every sector is going to be dominated by the Somalis, these other tribes, and foreigners, and people we can trust. Because there's no way Kenyans can continue losing money like this in all sectors. They're being fed. Even food. Check the food that is in Nairobi. Vegetables. Used to eat vegetables from sewage, Ruai, and whatever. But now, most food, if you ask anyone in Nairobi, they prefer food from Kisii. And that's why most vegetables and fruits, they come from Kisii because those are organic. They don't grow in those wages. They don't put chemicals. Very pure. Even chicken, most hotels in Nairobi prefer to keep their own chicken instead of buying because of chemicals. And that's how the market was destroyed. Easily came into being because Kenyans were being exploited by these other tribes. So the Somali came and they started selling at the real price. These other Kenyans who could go, someone buys a dress for 400 shillings. He comes to sell to you at 4,000, 5,000. But the Somali will buy at 400 and sell to you 700 shillings. That is reasonable. And that's why people started flocking to Isili. And that's how Isili started growing. And now Isili gets customers from the whole of Africa. Even Nigerians come to buy from Isili. Ugandans come. A few years ago, you used to buy from Uganda. So that's what's happening. And they should change. This is an honest opinion and someone who wishes you well. If you cannot change, then later on, you will not find any business to do.